Fetterman is skipping out apparently on a significant chunk of the voting process for the mega bill in the Senate because he wanted to go home, go to the beach or something. He's bored. He just wants to go home. AIPAC didn't pay him enough to spend the whole time there. Oh my God, I just want to go home. I'm going to vote no. There's no drama. That's good. That shit is probably going through. You know, they're still voting on it. They're still voting on it, you know? It's going to go on for a long while. It's like, I don't...
serious harm on American innovation and competitiveness. And for that matter, it applies to the adult children, directly or indirectly, of elected and non-elected officials. It goes too far. If we had passed something like this in the early days of the internet, we would have sent a clear message that America is closed for business when it comes to digital innovation. And that's what we risk doing now. That's the
All right, well, apart from the specifics of this, yeah, the America ending bill is going through. It's probably going to go through. Apparently, they were able to cinch a last-second vote from the Republican senator, whose name I'm blanking on right now, from Alaska. Basically, she was like, I don't want you to cut these provisions in Alaska. I think that would be bad. And they were like, okay. And they cut the Alaska part. They were like, well, we'll keep it for every other state. But to get your vote specifically, we don't care. We don't have any principles. Oh, just come back. I don't know. Lisa Murkowski, yeah. They already removed the carve-out for Alaska? Really? Holy shit, this has been moving quickly. I was too busy sucking dick yesterday. Jesus. Well, so what the is in the new... Okay, what are we on now? $3.8 trillion in tax cuts. No tax on tips, overtime pay, some automotive loans, along with a bigger $6,000 deduction Senate draft for older adults. It would boost the $2,000 child tax credit to $2,200 under the Senate proposal. Families at lower income levels would not see the full amount. Okay, classic. The SALT cap would quadruple to $40,000 for 5 years. That's great. Okay. The wealthiest households would get more money. The poorest people are going to have less money. Middle-income taxpayers will see a little bit more money. Mostly just poor people getting f***ed over. All right. $350 billion for Trump's border and national security agenda. $46 billion for the border wall. $45 billion for 100,000 migrant detention facility beds. That's your Auschwitz-Birkenau. 10,000 new ICE officers, $10,000 signing bonuses, surge of border patrol officers. Homeland Security Secretary would have $10 billion in grants for states that help with federal immigration enforcement. So they're going to try to buy out like sanctuary city and sanctuary states. The Attorney General would have a $3.5 billion for a similar fund known as Bridging Immigration-Related Deficits Experienced Nationwide, or Biden. Ah, that's cute. Turn your AC on. The AC is on, you condescending piece of shit, okay? How about you turn your brain on and assume that I would know how the button that turns the AC on works? Q. Also, ACs are expensive to run. Electricity costs money. Give me money. Cutting Medicaid, hundreds of thousands of people kicked off Medicaid in every state. Everyone's gonna die. 80-hour-a-month work requirements for many adults receiving Medicaid and food stamps, including older people up to age 65. Parents of children 14 and older would have to meet the program's work requirements. Yeah. New copay that can be charged to patients using Medicaid. They're adding a copay, you know? Why not? $35 isn't that much money to a Republican congressman. It's probably not a big deal. At least 10.9 million more people will go without health coverage. 3 million more would not qualify for food stamps. Senate proposes a $25 billion rural hospital transformation program to help offset reduced Medicaid dollars. It's a new addition intended to win over holdout GOP senators. That's great. Extra $25 billion specifically for rural hospitals, so those greasy fucks can stay alive while poor black people in the cities, wither and die. DEI welfare, yes sir. Yes sir. No more green energy tax breaks for electric vehicles. No more investment tax credits for wind, solar, and other renewable energy programs. In total, cuts to Medicaid, food stamps, and green energy programs would be expected to produce at least $1.5 trillion in savings. All of that for tax cuts that would amount to about $12,000 saved for wealthy people per household. Like, not that much, really. If you're wealthy, I mean, it's just crazy. And it's 1.5 trillion in saving is nothing compared to the deficit this is racking up. Oh yeah, the children's saving program where they put $1,000 into the market for you when you're born. That's good. That's good. Establishing a National Garden of American Heroes. Don't know, don't care. Tax on university endowments, $200 tax. Eliminated on gun silencers and short-barreled rifles and shotguns. Silencers and short-barreled rifles and shotguns. That's specifically those ones? The things that are used for killing people but not animals? Okay, gotcha. No more tax on those. One provision bars money to family planning providers, namely Planned Parenthood. 88 million earmarked for a pandemic response accountability committee. So presumably that's prosecuting Dr. Fauci. Expanding the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act from Josh Hawley for people impacted by nuclear development and testing. Billions would go to a moon mission for the exploration of Mars. They kept that one. Thank you, Elon. The bill would deter states from regulating AI by linking certain federal AI infrastructure money to maintain a freeze. 17 Republican governors asked GOP leaders to drop the provisions. Nope! Increase the national debt limit by $5 trillion to allow continued borrowing to pay already accrued bills. Our ass is in debt. Final cost, $3.8 trillion over the decade, $2.4 trillion to the national deficits over the decade. Or not, depending on how one does the math. Senate Republicans are proposing a unique strategy of not counting the existing tax breaks as new costs because those breaks are already, quote, current policy. Right, you know, if you just lie about the numbers, then the numbers don't look so bad. That's true. Under the Senate GOP view, the tax provisions cost only $441 billion, according to the Congressional Joint Committee on Taxation. That's great. Okay, that's good, that's good. They read out the entirety of the big, beautiful bill in Congress. It's like 882 pages. They read out the whole thing. No one was watching, of course, because nobody actually watches when anyone does anything in Congress. Right now, they're just doing their votes. They're tallying. Everyone's here to put their votes forward. It's probably going to go through. This country is basically cooked. So that's all good. The only thing we can really hope for is that the cuts to social welfare programs lead to more Republican voters perishing than Democrat voters. It's pretty much the best case scenario here. Don't really know what else you could hope for, to be honest. Kind of seems like the only thing you're really fighting for here. We having fun down here? Well, it seems like it. It seems like it. SCOTUS agreed to hear a GOP proposal to remove campaign funding caps. Oh, because they're mad about Mamdani winning, they wanted Cuomo to be able to directly spend $50 trillion. They might want the Supreme Court
of South Carolina
to rule on that quickly,
Mr. Shaheen, Mr.
so they can
Sheehy,
funnel money into like Adams or Siwa against
Ms.
Mamdani.
Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune.
This bill's very unpopular. Yep, which is crazy because nobody knows what the f is in it. How is it unpopular when nobody knows what the f is in it? Isn't that weird?
Versus standing up to him.
Huh?
Well, I think it's a combination. You really laid that out well. The big, beautiful bill is revealing a deeper identity crisis within the Republican Party. You know, fiscal conservatives still argue that this bill doesn't go far.
CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton here to run the numbers.
Run the numbers.
Right, Harry, how do Americans feel about the big,
Run the
beautiful
numbers,
bill?
Harry.
Yeah, if we're talking about adjectives, how about they think it's awful, they think it's horrible, and to quote our colleague Charles Barkley, terrible, terrible, terrible. What are we talking about?
Incredible stuff, really.
Here. Well, let's take a look at the net favorable rating on the big, beautiful bill. I don't just got one poll for you, Omar. I got 5 of them, and the net favorable rating, minus 19 points, Washington Post, minus 20 points, Pew Research Center, Fox, minus 21, Quinnipiac University, minus 26, KFF, minus 29. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know that when the net favorable rating of your bill is somewhere between minus 19 and minus 29 points, that it is not a positive bill as...
Doesn't matter. Has no consequences. This administration has decided, it decided a long time ago that it would not put much effort into trying to make itself popular for the American people. And it doesn't matter because we have a disgustingly complicit, captured media who will, you know, bow fealty to Israel. And that's pretty much the only thing on which they'll show any backbone. We'll talk more about that later. That's pretty much the only thing the media will show up for. And the population doesn't care because everyone's too busy trying to like do their job or like goon, I guess. It doesn't matter.
Viewed by the American public at this particular point hate the big, beautiful bill. As far as they're concerned, it's not a big, beautiful bill. It's a big, bad.
Also, I don't like this guy's fit.
Bill.
I always appreciate when you hold back, Harry.
I know, I try.
As people have learned more about the bill, I mean, obviously we're still in these stages working out individual pieces, and we'll see where this ends up. But as people have learned about it, has that popularity changed at all once they get more details?
No, Omar. You know, we have Quinnipiac University. They hate it.
Maybe I actually like this guy. Maybe I like the bit he's going for. The way he talks. Maybe I actually like that. You know, I'm watching the Adam Friedland show, and I watched his interview with Chris Cuomo, which to me was very sobering, because I don't like Chris Cuomo, and unfortunately he had like a tremendous presence. He was very funny in that interview. And Chris Cuomo said when he was on CNN, he just had like a black suit, and he was known as the black suit guy. He just wore one suit to work at CNN. You need like a bit to stand out, I guess. Most people don't wear black suits. They're considered too formal. If this guy's doing his like, wow, intonations, you know, maybe that's his bit. You got to stick out.
In early June, when the net favorable rating was minus 26 points, and look at where we are in late June. It's the same, minus 26 points. The more they learn about this bill, they hate it just as much. I've been going through the historical books and trying to find a piece of legislation that looks more likely than not to pass, and seeing if there is one as unpopular as the big, beautiful bill. And the bottom line is, Omar, I can't find one. This one is in the history books, and for all of the wrong reasons as far as the American public is concerned.
Yeah, enormous unpopularity, negative 62 points. So if we assume that like 40% of people have no idea what the... Okay, is this minus 26 points discluding people who don't know about it, or is it minus 26 with those people included? Because that would be even worse, you know? It depends, like, are you removing the people who don't know or not? Either way, it's pretty bad. I mean, the best case scenario is that this is like a 62-38 or something, which is pretty bad. It could potentially be even worse. It does include no opinion / don't know. That could be even worse then. If it includes that could mean even like a larger minus 45 point net rating among independents. That is crazy. That is a shockingly unpopular bill, but it doesn't matter. The country is getting destroyed whether you like it or not, liberal, whether you like it or not. Only 67% of Republicans support it. Trump job approval, 38%. Man. Yeah, this is from Quinnipiac. Republicans are 67-10 in favor. Democrats 82 to 2, or 89 to 2 opposed. Independents 57-20 opposed. That's insane. Only 20% of independents support it. But it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't fucking matter. We're gonna die anyway, aren't we? And it doesn't matter how many of you vote that you disapprove of the meteor hurtling towards Earth, does it? Still comes. June 11th poll, by the way. Yeah, that's only a few weeks ago. It's fine. Nobody knows what's in the bill. Nobody's keeping up with the shit. You're a nerd for knowing anything. All you should know is that it's called the Big Beautiful Bill. The more you know about the bill, the less likely you are to have had any pussy during Pride. And Pride Month is basically up, by the way, so if it's too late, it's too late, okay? You can run off and, like, close stream right now and run off, but, like, no one pays attention to this shit. No one cares.
So why is this bill so unpopular?
Why is this bill so unpopular? Well, I think Republicans would argue that this bill is supposed to help out the American people and their family. But the American people disagree with that idea. All right, Trump's policies and your family, help or hurt? The big, beautiful bill, just 23% say help. How about 49%? 49% say hurt. Look, that's a 26-point difference in the direction of hurt. Compare that to Trump's first-term agenda, where the plurality said it helped their family at 44% compared to 31% who said hurt. So the American people elected Trump to help them and their families, but they see the big, beautiful bill as one that, on the whole, hurts their families.
What is this framing? News media can only use normative language if they're talking about how Israel has the right to do whatever it wants. So in all other cases, all they can do is say, look at this other person making a claim. Here's the claim they're making. This is what they believe. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Seriously, like go on in regular punditry on CNN or whatever else, go find them making like direct affirmative statements, things that like normatively support the cause here, rather than saying shit like, well, the American people have concerns. People seem to believe, that kind of stuff. You know, it's only on Israel.
All right. Helpful perspective as we work through the individual details of where the Senate negotiations are.
President Donald Trump's sweeping domestic policy bill is inching closer to the finish line. The U.S. Senate adjourned about 3 hours ago after debate on the package of tax cuts and spending priorities. Senators are now bracing for a marathon voting session on amendments, also known as vote-a-rama, after they convene at around 9 o'clock in the morning. Several Republicans.
This is why they're going all day today. This is why Fetterman is sitting at his beach house right now, not doing shit. They're trying to run through all these amendments. The process of getting these through is inane, complicated, and frankly incredibly uninteresting. You know, you're watching like C-SPAN looking for, oh, okay, so they got enough people for that, they got enough people for this, they didn't get enough people for that. Usually it's all meaningless bullshit anyway. You know, that they get this bill through, like the country's anyway. It's not great. They're trying to get it all done before July 4th because Trump wants to take his victory lap.
Have raised concerns about the bill's spending levels. According to the Congressional Budget Office, the Senate version of the package would cost far more than the House-approved bill, adding more than $3 trillion to the deficit. Yippee! Amy Kiley is following the latest developments.
By no means is this bill final.
The fate of President Donald Trump's budget bill remains uncertain ahead of today's vote-a-rama in the Senate. Democrats are united in opposition.
A handful of billionaires.
When you see shit like this, by the way, when you see Democratic politicians, you ever notice Democrats do this, but Republicans don't seem to do it that often? Like they express their opposition to a bill with like a little, they give a little speech and they have the little placard. Republicans do it too, but I feel like Democrats play it up a little more. The reason Democrats do this is because it does nothing. It's totally ineffective. What you don't see, C-SPAN, you can zoom out. No one is here. Nobody is here. Nobody is here. Congressmen, senators, actually House members, senators, they don't do their jobs. They're not here. When they give speeches, it's not like everyone's required to attend. They just show up for the votes. Sometimes not even for that, you know? That's it.
Get a big break. While working people lose their Medicaid, while hungry kids lose access to food funding.
Most Republicans are united in support of the bill.
We have before us today a once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver legislation to create a safer, stronger, and more prosperous America.
But if more than 3 Republicans oppose the measure, it's likely to fail. Senator Tom Tillis says he'll vote no and retire at the end of his term.
What do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there?
Senator Rand Paul says he voted no to a procedural measure because he thinks the bill would add trillions to the deficit.
That doesn't sound at all conservative to me.
Alaska Senator
Hi with a Polish. It's wretched. You shouldn't need me to comment on it.
Lisa Murkowski wants carve-outs for her state. Maine Senator Susan Collins is signaling she'll propose an amendment. And Senator Josh Hawley says he'll vote yes, but
we can't be cutting health care for working people and for poor people in order to constantly give special tax treatment to corporations.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
What the f was that clip at the end there with the little reflex test for the kid? You couldn't. What was the point of that?
Democrats emphasized the bill would extend 2017 income tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. That's true. And since the cuts are based on percentages, the wealthiest Americans stand to see.
I feel like everyone knows we're all. They just stop caring. Yeah. Like we all deserve to die. Like in a Malthusian. Not Malthusian necessarily, because I'm kind of inversely directing it. I think that every one-legged disabled child in the Philippines is worth maybe 7 or 8 Americans, morally speaking. I'm taking third world. I'm bringing it to fourth worldism, folks. Okay, I'm taking it. I'm doing reverse Malthusianism. Okay, we deserve this shit. We've earned it. We fought for it. We fought for a world where we can all pass legislation that absolutely everyone hates and it doesn't matter and it just happens anyway and nothing changes. And the Democratic establishment is more concerned with fighting Mandani than they are with anything going on in Capitol Hill right now. I'm just saying, like, we fought for it. We might as well have a victory lap. It takes a lot of work to get an electorate this disillusioned, you know?
The most money. And Thomas Giff joins us now from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He's the director for the Center on...
Yeah, I don't give a shit. That's great. Just put the, I don't know, put something somewhere. Just put the thing in the thing.
163,000 people in 2 years.
He's retiring, right? Tom Tillis, he announced he's retiring, so he just decided, like, while he's on his way out, he might as well be belligerent.
3 years. When President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there anymore, guys. In the White House, senators advising the president are not telling him that the effect of this bill is to break a promise. Republicans are about to make a mistake on health care and betraying a promise. It is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made in the Oval Office or in the cabinet room when I was there with finance, where he said we can go after waste, fraud, and abuse on any programs. Now, those amateurs that are advising him, not Dr. Oz, I'm talking about White House healthcare experts, refuse to tell him that those instructions that were to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse all of a sudden eliminates a government program that's called the provider tax.
It's basically like a ticking time bomb for a Republican rep to retire and then just go full anti-GOP. Like for them to blow the whole thing up, like that everyone's a pedophile, Netanyahu, Israel, like the whole 9 yards, you know? So far, when these guys have their, like, I'm not fired, I quit moment, they drop the microphone, they're like, well, Mr. President, you betrayed me when you claimed you would support the American people and you haven't, like that bullshit or whatever, which, no, you don't care about the American people. Don't lie to me. I don't give a shit about that, okay? Just give the juicy deets. Who was that muscle-bound groiper who was stupid enough to say that he didn't like the fact that the Republicans were all having gay sex parties? And then instantly a bunch of shit leaked about him and he got shot down. Madison Cawthorn. That was funny. That guy, I wish he stayed around longer. That guy would have dropped some juicy deets. He didn't understand how the game was played at all. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, wheelchair bound. Super far right. Didn't he go to like Hitler's birthplace or something like that? And he was like, well, my main problem with the GOP reps I share the office with is that the sex parties, it's degenerate. And then instantly a bunch of shit leaked, like him cousin or something, or like fake his cousin, like humping his cousin or whatever, and a bunch of other embarrassing crap. It was really, really funny. That's like vintage now, but that was only a few years ago. Was that 2020 to 2022, or was that 2022 to 2024? Which cycle was that? It would have had to have been 2020, 2022, right? It was 22 to 24? No, okay, people are shit. It was 2022, he was elected 2020. Okay, that makes more sense to me. Okay.
We owe it to the American people, and I owe it to the people of North Carolina, to withhold my affirmative vote until it's demonstrated to me that we've done our homework. We're going to make sure that we fulfill the promise, and then I can feel good about a bill that I'm willing to vote for. But until that time, I will be withholding my vote.
Senator Tom Tillis took a stand and then...
Show the drag photos? Yeah, this guy, he was no George Santos, man. Madison Cawthorn was serving. When you talk about the Republicans and their gay sex parties, which they're all having all the time, you know, they drop some juicy deets on you. And he does, listen, okay? I'm sorry. I've been around the rowdy straight boys. I know how the rowdy straight boys dress when they want to dress as a woman as a joke, okay? This outfit's too well put together. I know what you are. Thank you. Slay. Lethal face card on the left. Lethal face card in general. Madison Cawthorn, are you kidding me? Body card too. You see his arm? Nah, dude's in shape. And in a wheelchair. Look at you guys. You're out of shape. Most of you aren't in wheelchairs. Happy Pride, Madison. Let's not thirst over Nazis, okay? Trump won, liberal, okay? When Republican congressmen leave office in disgrace after drag photos drop, you can in fact say they slayed. It's okay. Don't you tell me what to do. Don't you cancel culture me. His arms are like that because he's in the chair. The arms are compensating for what leg muscles would normally do. No, because if that was the case, everyone in a wheelchair would have like yoked arms. That's not true. He works out, man. If you're like, I would also be ripped if I was in a wheelchair. Break your legs. Break your legs then. That's what I thought. I will. I will. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. This shit sucks so much.